Hello everyone, welcome to our next lesson. Today we're looking at solving three equations with three unknowns. Now if you have an equation with three unknowns, what we're talking about is a plane. And if we have three equations with three unknowns, we're talking about three planes. Now when you have the three planes, one of three things can happen. Either one, they intersect at one point. Two, they intersect at an infinite amount of points. Or three, they don't intersect at all. So, we are going to look at these Cartesian equations, and we are going to change it into matrix form. After we've got it in matrix form, we're going to change it to reduced echelon form. Once we put it in reduced echelon form, we're going to look at these two numbers, h and I. If h does not equal 0, it means we've got one solution. If h and I both equal 0, it means we have an infinite amount of solutions. And if h equals 0 and I does not equal 0, it means we have no solutions. Let's look at the example. So first of all, we've got 2x plus 3y minus z is equal to 11. So we're going to put it in matrix form by putting 2, 3, negative 1, 11. Then we're going to do the next one, which is 1, 2, 1, 3. And the last one's 5, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, 10. Now it's good to be neat so that you don't get confused, which I'm not doing a great job of. Anyways, we're going to look at this matrix form, and we need to transfer these to be 0. So we're going to look at the first one. How do we make this 0? Well, if we multiply this row by 2 and multiply this by 1 and subtract them from each other, well, you'll get 2 minus 2 equals 0. So that's what it's going to be. So we got 2, 3, negative 1, 11. This row we're multiplying by 2 and subtracting from 2. So what we've got is row 1 minus 2 row 2. So what we're going to get is 2 minus 2 is 0. The next one is going to be 3 minus 4, which is negative 1. Then we've got negative 1 minus, or plus 2, which is equal to negative 3. So negative 1 minus 2 is equal to negative 3. And then we've got 11 minus 6, which is equal to 5. Okay, now we're going to look at the next one. This one a little bit harder because this row has got a 2 and this row has got a 5. So we're going to multiply this by 5 and this by 2 and then subtract them from each other. So we're going to have 5 row 1 minus 2 row 2. And what our numbers are, so 10 minus 10 is 0. 15 plus 2 is 17. Next number is negative 3. And then 55 minus 20 is 35. Okay, hopefully I haven't made any mistakes. Now we're going to look at this one. This digit here, we're going to have to change that into a 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this by 17 and this by 1 and then add them together. So what we're going to do is 17 row 2 plus row 3. So that would give us, well, first row 1 is not being affected. Oops, sorry about that. That's number 2. 3, negative 1, 11. Second row hasn't been affected. Negative 1, negative 3, 5. And the second one, so 17 times 0 plus 0 is 0. 17 times negative 1 plus 17 is equal to 0. That's what we wanted. The next one is negative 54. And the last one, 17 times 5 plus 35 is 120. Okay, well, if we look at this, our digit here is not equal to 0. So we have one solution for this question. So let's find what the one solution is. Well, this is our z column. So negative 54z is equal to 120. Therefore, z is equal to negative 120 over 54. And it can be simplified. Then we look at our next row, which says negative y minus 3z is equal to 5. Well, we know what z is, so that could be inserted into here, and you can figure out what your y is. Not going to do it because it's ugly fractions. The next one is we've got 2x plus 3y minus z is equal to 11. Well, we know what z is. We can figure out what y is. And then all you have left is your x value that you solve. And there you can find where the solution is of where the three planes intersect. Now you may be asking yourself, what happens if you have this case, if both I and h are 0? So let's look at another example. We've got this example here where your last two numbers are 0. So what that says is 0z is equal to 0. So there's an infinite amount of possibilities. So what we do is we're going to call z t. Then we get to the next row and we get negative 3y plus 3z is equal to 1. But z is equal to t. So negative 3y plus 3t is equal to 1. Or negative 3y equals 1 minus 3t. Y equals 1 minus 3t divided by negative 3. So now I know what y is. I know what z is in terms of t. Last one, using this row, x plus y minus z is equal to 2. Well, we know what z is in terms of t. We know what y is in terms of t. So you can figure out what x is in terms of t. And there you will get your equation of where they intersect. And there will be an infinite amount of ones where t could be any number, real or real points. Hope that helps. Have a good day.